Hi everybody, welcome back to the shop. Well, it's a little bit of a different shop to start things out today. We're in my studio. Today we're working on this beautiful vintage Gibson guitar. Absolutely gorgeous. This piece is from the early 60s. Belongs to a really good friend of mine named Dr. E. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful instrument in brilliant condition. But he has a little bit of a problem. What's going on is that it feels like he doesn't have enough bass response when he's playing with his thumb. But he also uses a pick where I play fingerstyle more. He plays with a pick, and that can also lead to a less bass. So what we're going to do is talk about a couple of things. This is my old vintage 335. And one thing that a lot of Gibson players will tell is that the tailpiece, they screw it all the way down to the body to get transference of energy into the body. And that's a great idea. I go one step further because the posts on a Gibson guitar are it's just a piece of all thread. It's very small. And I play big, heavy strings. And this one's only got 5 on it today. But what would happen is that those would start leaning forward and give me problems. So what I did was I put thumb wheels that normally raise and lower the action. I stacked thumb wheels. Originally, I stacked rivets, case rivets, and to do that. And then I found some thumb wheels, and I just stack them up. And what I noticed was I got a tremendous response in the lower mid-range and the bass because of doing that, because of the transference of energy directly to the top. So what we're going to do on E's guitar, this is a vintage piece. We want to keep it looking vintage. We don't want to stack a bunch of thumb wheels on it. So I have an idea to 3D print a part for each side that would actually keep his action exactly where it is, and would basically no one would ever notice. And so that's the project today. This is after he saw the video that I did with making the trumpet valve guides. So we want to try this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a sound sample. That's why we're here in the studio. The microphone that I'm going to use is a Neumann TLM 102. I just love these little mics. I think they're just super wonderful. I've got it set typical distance, 1 foot away, 12 inches away, pointed at the 12th fret. I'm running through a Midas console with no effects. So there's no compression, there's no EQ, nothing. It's just a microphone and the sound of the guitar. And so I'm going to play a little bit, play a couple of different little styles of things, just so you can get an idea of how the instrument sounds. So if I'll turn my lav mic off and it will be nothing but the Neumann, but what we're hearing is that I'll just plug down the strings. And what you can just immediately hear is that there's a lot of crispiness off of the high strings and really nothing happening on the low strings. E tunes his guitar down a whole step, and we're also going to address that. The first part of this video, though, is just working on the transference of energy. Because of the way that a hollow body guitar is made, this is what transfers. He loves the way that the pickup sounds when it's going through an amplifier, but what we're getting at is just this. Okay? So we're going to have a little bit of a playing sample here, and I'll be back. So let me show you how we're going to take care of this. So now that we have our sound sample, we're going to take some measurements of how deep and tall that our guy has got to be. And we'll get our interior as well. Okay. And so I'll record these, and then we'll 3D print our piece. So this is what we're going to do. We've come in and we've made these spacers. This one is for the bass side, and it shows all the dimensions that I used. So that's what that is. All right, now that we have our piece 3D printed, we're going to remove the top section, and we'll unscrew the thumb wheel. And we'll take our newly printed piece, slip that down, reinstall the thumb wheel down to where it is tight. No rattles. I've already done the treble side, so it's all set. So now what we have is a larger surface area with more energy transfer. And that's going to be great for our player. Dr. E's going to love this. Okay, the next step, once we have that done, is to put it all back together. We're just going to lift these strings and slide it back up under. Would help if I face that in the correct manner. Everything is slick. We just tune this back up. Okay, now that we've got this all installed, let's go back to the studio and do the exact same test. I'll play in the same 3 different little styles clips that I did. Let's see what we come up with by just adding our new parts and if we get some extra transference of energy. Well, it's pretty amazing what just that little bit of a change, adding that, did for the tone and the sound of his guitar. I'm going to take things one step further. I'm actually going to put some different strings on here. We're going to bump up his gauge a little bit, and we're going to change materials. We're going to go back to a traditional phosphor bronze. I think that's going to darken up the tone that he was talking about that he's got in his mind. And it's really going to bring the guitar into its own. I love that he's wanting to play this acoustically as well as through his amp. He has some amazing amplifiers. And so I'm glad that I was able to offer this technology to him and work on his instrument. Thanks, Dr. E, for trusting me with your instrument. Well, thanks everybody for following along. It means so much that people are taking part and watching the videos and commenting, and I like going places and oh, we didn't know you did that, and so it's cool. It's another side of what I do. So today was basically some guitar stuff, not straight up band instrument stuff. My life has been that we do everything. I play brass and woodwind instruments, and I play guitar and sing and write songs and do all that. So surrounding myself with this 24/7, 365 is probably my best gig ever. So I just love it. I hope that you learned some stuff on the 3D printer today. Got some ideas for maybe something to try in CAD design. It is a little bit tricky. I'm still learning. Big shout out to my son, Garrett, who has helped me so much with learning all about the 3D printer and doing the CAD design and letting me get frustrated and being somebody that I can come to and say, hey man, help me figure out this problem. And he is just Johnny on the spot. That boy is smart as a whip, and I am just so proud of him. Wonderful musician as well. So makes the family proud. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. Well, I guess I might get this posted this weekend. If not, have a wonderful week. I'll see you next time around in the shop. All right.